live. We'll do that. Hey, we're live on Facebook, everybody. Gabe's having a snack. I didn't straighten my hair today. Figure it's raining outside, so don't need to do that. Right?
Same thing, it's gonna throw out anyway.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
That's why I put mine up.
Yeah. And mine wasn't a ponytail, but the COVID weight for me and my hair in a ponytail doesn't get along so well. It takes up the entire screen. Like, I need something to hide. Give me a little shadows. I need some shadows. Oh my God. We're digressing really quickly here today. We're supposed to be talking about books. So let's do that. You guys have a good weekend? I want to give Facebook a minute or two before we get rolling.
You know, the weekend's just 2 days between work.
Right? I know. But I've been getting lots of lot more reading in recently than I was there for a while. So that's been kind of pleasant. So
the reading.
Yeah. Had some good events last week. We did the LA weather event with Maria Esparra. Is that her last name? I think. That was fun. And
yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, she was really, so nice. And we had this theater troupe. One of her best friends runs a theater troupe. So they did like a dramatic reading. They had 4 actors in there doing a dramatic reading. It was really fun. It was really like, something different. I've worked for Warwick's for 10 years and never had seen anything like that. Felt really, I don't know, it's very cool. So Pepe, if you're watching, we liked your reading there.
I was going to say, Shadow Boy Pepe with her.
Yep.
They've known each other since like college. We met them on Thursday or Friday. Okay. Deborah was a big fan of Esperanza's, the first book, Esperanza.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I saw the picture on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she came by and we chatted, and Pepe ran into Deborah at the store, and they were chatting and brought her down, and I was there, and he's very cool, and it's a long time for that book, and I'm glad she broke out again. She keeps breaking out.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. And so made the New York Times, Reese Witherspoon, that was a really big thing.
Yeah, the Reese thing is like really sweet. Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah,
do we
really
have
cool.
Autographed copies left?
Only a few.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only a few. But so yeah, Pepe. So Pepe was with her. Love him.
He's very cool too.
Really cool. All right. We should get going. So we're gonna go Gabe and then you, Amanda, okay? And I'll talk about events a little bit later. So Gabe, take it away.
Gabe will share his screen and show you The White Ship, which is just out last week to really great review attention. Charles Spencer is a bestseller in the UK. We've been publishing his books through one of our imprints that imports Brit books and Australian books. It's called 360 is the imprint. Every house has various imprints that do various things. There's the nonfiction imprint, the literary imprint, and the showbizy imprint. They all cross over in a lot of ways as well because of editorial processes. But we are lucky enough to have these great imports come in. And this is the Fugitive King was the last book about how Charles II managed to escape certain death after his father was beheaded and he was a wanted man, and how he worked his way back to the throne eventually, in spite of being a really conspicuous figure, which is a really page turner of a book. I love this kind of history. I'm a big Anglophile, Francophile, and Italophile, and a Spanophile apparently. But this book is like the whole essence of the beginnings of British history and Norman rule are enveloped into this episode of British history, The White Ship, where Henry I put his kids on board the White Ship, his heirs, and transported them across the pond. And the White Ship is notorious for having been led by oh my God, sorry, the name escapes me. It's one of those Henry. It wasn't a Henry, but one of his son who was they were just partying way too much. And the boat, which was a state-of-the-art ship at that point in time, was overloaded. The passengers were overloaded and they crashed into a rock and the heirs drowned. And on the boat was Matilda, or Princess Maud, or Queen Maud, as you would, and her rival for the throne in those interim years, Stephen of Blois, got off the boat because he felt it was dangerous, so he didn't cross with everybody else, and the future of England sunk there, and we had that civil war between Stephen of Blois and Matilda, Queen Maud, and they ran the country to the ground for many years as they battled for the throne. Matilda was named the heir, but you couldn't have a female heir, and Stephen was a cousin, and he had a claim to the throne, and it was just one of those great episodes. But it really is the beginning. Henry I is grandson of William the Conqueror, so it's really early on in the empire, the creation of the British Empire. So fascinating history. He's a great writer. Diana Spencer's brother. He's a relation. Been doing this for a while and writes a really stirring narrative. It's the kind of history, it's really page-turning history. I think the last book was a little bit tougher to sell. I mean, they're both very episodic, but if you're into good history, if you're into British history, this I definitely recommend this reading. It's just loads of fun.
Look at those blurbs. Those are good blurbs.
Some really good blurbs.
Bill Bryson, Anthony Horowitz.
The
cover is awesome. I love the cover.
Yeah. Fugitive King also was a great package, and it was like I kept putting it in people's hands, and it's one of those, they go in and it's a little surprise when you find it. But I think this is a book that's worth a stack at the front of the store, and people should look for it because great Christmas gift for anybody. There's just a lot of really fun facts in there and bits you didn't know. And I mean, there's a lot of people who don't even know about the shipwreck to begin with. So there's that. But for those who do follow British history, it's a great chapter that's not often written about. So, I mean, often written about in a roundabout way or referenced,
but not like drilled into.
Right.
Yeah. No, looks really good. Yeah, love it. Is it paperback, Gabe, or is it hardcover?
The hardcover.
It's a hardcover. Okay.
$28.99.
Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, Amanda, what do you got for us?
This comes out tomorrow from Celadon Books. This is Her Honor. My Life on the Bench, What Works, What's Broken, and How to Change It, by Judge Ladoris Hazard Cordell, who was the first African-American woman to sit on the Superior Court of Northern California. And this is a memoir, the book says, for anyone who's had the good or bad fortune to stand before a judge or sit on a jury. She uses real cases to highlight how judges make decisions while facing all the outside pressures from the media, from law enforcement, people involved with the people in the cases, lobbyists. So this is a good book for people who are into true crime, people who, like myself, are always befuddled when voting for judiciary people whenever those ballots come up. It highlights what goes on in our legal system and what it means for all of us. And there's a really good quote from Susanna Cahalan, the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Brain on Fire. She says, "Her Honor is exceptional, an instant classic that will undoubtedly enter the canon of the greats of nonfiction. As funny and charming as Bill Bryson, but as powerful and eye-opening as Brian Stevenson. Part memoir, part primer on the court system. It's a joy, a revelation, and an education. Judge Cordell is a tough, humane, and wildly comedic guide through the judiciary, warts and all." So that's out tomorrow. Her Honor by Judge Ladoris Hazard Cordell.
I love that. Warts
and all.
Warts and all. That could be said about so many things about me. Warts and all. That sounds like a really good one. Yeah, there you go. We are in the season of warts, aren't we?
Yeah.
I love it. The witches are coming. It's Tuesday, witches. Anyway. Okay. I actually am going to share a book. As I was thinking about this while you guys were all talking. Comes out tomorrow. The Memoirs of Stockholm Sven. This was such a great, unexpected. Have you read it, Gabe?
Yeah,
I loved it.
it's one of those international editions that we're just killing with.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Great stuff.
yeah, it's really good. So it's about the Stockholm Sven goes to the Arctic Circle with his dog and builds this, it's loosely based on a real story, I believe, but it was just, the writing was fantastic. It's this very atmospheric story, takes you right in, a little bit about what's going on in Stockholm. Anyways, out tomorrow, #1 indie next pick. So the Memoirs of Stockholm Sven. What did it remind? I can't even remember what it reminded me of, because it's a really unique story.
Pretty unique story.
Yeah, it's a really unique one. So
do I have to check it on doesthedogdie.com?
Maybe.
Read it.
Maybe.
Read it.
But it's the Arctic, and it's okay, because what happens? It's like, it's not like, it doesn't like completely devastate you.
Oh.
Because he's just, I mean, he's a great character though. The dog's a great character.
Oh.
Yeah, really good. Just, I mean, and if you, it's a great book because it's so atmospheric. It's like, if it's getting winter time, it's cold. It's just like, it's really good. So Memoirs of Stockholm.
That was
tomorrow.
the #1 Indies next book for the month, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Gabe, what do you got next?
I've got something very interesting, because I always do. Tamron Hall, the famous TV personality, is writing this is her first novel. It's the beginning of a series, the Jordan Manning series. And Jordan is this very, in the old days, I would have said plucky reporter, but that doesn't sound cool in this age.
Yeah, I can't do that. I don't think you can do that anymore, can you?
She's a badass,
there you go.
Aggressive reporter who's a designer wearing, spiky heel wearing, classy dame reporter who gets a chance to go from her little Texas town to Chicago to sit on the anchor chair for a Chicago news segment. And she is, reporter by nature. She also happens to have a master's in forensics. So that opens a whole new door here, whole new world of opportunities for narrative. But when your main character also is CSI style status. So anyways, it's just, it's a very commercial page turner mystery. We got Publishers Weekly starred review. I think we got like a book list or a Kirkus starred review as well. So the reads have been really strong in the industry side. She's, she's just a very, very bright individual who is putting together this really, pretty strong novel. And I think it's a really strong first effort. Like I said, I think the starred reviews are a testament to what she's doing here. And it's, she goes to Chicago, gets immersed in her job, but pretty soon, she becomes fascinated by the case of a 15-year-old girl who's went missing and then found dead. And then another body shows up, and it looks like there's a serial killer loose in Chicago, and he may be hiding in plain sight. So it's one of those it's got a little creep factor as well. I think, she's going to get a lot of attention because of who she is. But like I said, the book reviews have been strong, and we have a lot of attention planned for it ourselves. She's going to be on a lot of television shows, so you'll see her up and around, and she'll remind you. If you forget you saw her here, she'll remind you when you see her on TV, and read about her in all the magazines and newspapers. So we're excited. Tamron Hall is a new property, and I think it's got a chance to be a really, really big bestseller down the road as we progress with this series. So ground floor with As the Wicked Watch.
And a little more news about her.
Flash
right there. We'll be hosting. So if you want to come and join us for a virtual event, she'll be with us on Wednesday or actually won't be with us, but she will be virtual. So you can, if you're interested in buying the book, you might as well buy it and pop into the event that's at 4:00 on Wednesday. So got a lot of synergy going on here today, Gabe.
You know, when you have good books,
I know.
people are aware.
I like it. I like it. All right, Amanda, what do you got?
Okay. I've been waiting a while to talk about this one. This is Cairo Circles. So it also comes out tomorrow. And it's by Duma Mahmood, who is a debut author. And this was one of the books chosen as an Indies Introduce selection by a panel of booksellers I was privileged to serve on as one of the debut books of the season. And it is a wonderful family saga. The story starts with our main character, Shiro, who is from Cairo, but he's a student in New York. And the FBI knocks on his door one morning because there's been a terrorist attack in New York. And it's pretty much every Arab American's nightmare scenario. I say as an Arab American. And he thinks that they've made a terrible mistake, but then they ask him questions about his cousin, who he grew up with. So the story takes place in both the US and Cairo, and it encompasses all these different characters in his life. And it's just beautiful how it all comes together. There's a good quote from Jonathan Safran Foer, author of Everything is Illuminated. He says, Cairo Circles is a novel that proves literature needn't choose between pleasure and substance. And Raven Leilani says, Cairo Circles is a deft meditation on how family and class can brighten and distort life's trajectory and force us to grapple with how closely origin and desire are intertwined. Thought that was really good. I love this book so much. They put my blurb on the back of the advanced copy for booksellers. So
wow.
Yeah, this was a first for me. So again, that's Cairo Circles, a great debut.
I love
Loving
that.
it from the start, eh?
Yeah, very cool. Okay, yeah, Amanda, I do see that question from Susan. Hi, Susan and Beth, both asking, I think, kind of the same thing. So, Gabe, and I'm going to let you chime in on this too, but I'll chime in with what, we could all chime in on answering it. So, Susan's question is the typical hardcover $28.99 now? Yes. Does it still take about a year for a hardcover to be released in paperback? Yeah,
Not anymore.
Not as much. 6 months sometimes.
Some of them are pretty quick turnaround lately. Sometimes I have not even I literally am. We do sell a little bit ahead of time, but sometimes I'm actually selling the paperback before the hardback has arrived.
I've noticed that. So
there's like a 6-7 month turnaround on a lot of the books that they run their course pretty fast sometimes in the more
right. And it seems like the authors, there's a couple things that I've kind of noticed trends on. If it's like a popular author, sometimes that paperback will come out quicker than the other ones. Or if it's a debut that's getting a little bit more attention, they'll throw that into paperback quicker too, because it just increases the life of the book a little bit more. So yeah, and she makes a comment that it's getting harder for the average person to continue buying from independent bookstores. And I know that it's hard when the prices are up that high to do that on a regular basis. Go ahead, Amanda.
I would mention that we've actually had a lot of paperback originals discussed on Tea Time from our reps. And I think that's becoming, there are even a lot of books that come out simultaneously in hardcover and paperback these days, I guess, just for people who prefer
Seems
one or
like
the
a
other.
lot of the, like, I know Berkeley does that a lot. I think like Mira sometimes will do that.
We're doing that with, we do that, well, we're calling them like library editions, but we'll do hardbacks of something, paperback originals. We'll also do them in hardback for libraries.
Right.
But we have, you know, paperback, and paperback original is a big, has been a big, not surprise, but it has been working. I think people, in the old days, you couldn't get reviews for a paperback.
Right.
It felt like, and I think nowadays the solution is that. And I think, you know, the books going into paperback sooner helps a little bit with $28, because you're looking at $16.99 paperbacks now.
Right. And that's the thing too, that, and I do think that, you know, your comment about getting reviews. So there's lots of reasons why they want books to come out in hardcover before they just do that original thing. So the other thing too is that now with nonfiction sometimes takes a lot longer to come out in paperback. So it's not quite, fiction seems to be a quicker turnaround, and there's sometimes I've seen some hardcovers in nonfiction never come out in paperback. So there's not really a formula.
There's not, but you know, like Barbara King saw Ram Patchett, those tend to stay in hardback a long time because people want the hardbacks and they buy them for a really long period of time, as opposed to other kind of writers. But I think, you know, $16.99. Right. That's the next issue.
But we do appreciate everybody that does and can buy hardcovers from us, independent bookstores. That does help us able to do these kind of things and have staff that can do this for you. So we do appreciate that. And you know, but we get it. It's, you know, libraries are good, and sharing books is good. So
I would say also our booksellers are an incredible treasure trove of recommendations and books that are in paperback that you may never have even heard of in hardcover, especially for suggesting something for your book club. So feel free to ask us. We love to oblige. I mean, you would be amazed how many books just slip through the cracks for whatever reasons.
Well, Beneficence was one that just, like, in hardcover hardly did anything, and then now hopefully in paperback will have a life. Heart's Invisible Furies, we couldn't give that away in hardcover, and it's such a good paperback.
Such a great book.
Yeah, it's a great book. It's a great edition. So, all right.
That's when the people were like, I wish I had the hardback of that one. That's such a.
I know, because it was such a good book.
I loaned out my hardback to somebody I thought I could trust, and they were like, "Oh, you didn't loan that to me," and I was like, and that's the first book I ever loaned out since MASH. I loaned Mike Villaseñor MASH in high school in 1975.
You remember Mike Villaseñor, if you're watching?
I never got my MASH back. I had to buy it at the Friends of the Library for $0.25 finally years later.
We never forget.
Never forget. And then
don't trust people, Gabe. Don't trust people.
Anybody.
Okay, the thing I said earlier about sharing books, we don't share books in this. you guys could all share books. We don't share books. This little circle.
People can't be trusted. But the other thing about you know, the thing is also when you go, we talking about going into buying from an independent bookstore, and unfortunately if you can't walk into it, but you can always call and have a conversation with a bookseller, because there are so many books that have been published, and somebody like that's been around for a long time. This is the one business where it's good to be old, because my point of reference for books is huge. Right. I've been reading since I was a little kid. I can tell you there's books that are forgotten that are still in print from the 70s and 80s and 90s that are amazing reads that we can't carry in the stores because there's only so much room. Right. But talk to a bookseller and they will point you. Leaving Cheyenne by Larry McMurtry, for example. What a great book. There's just, I mean, I could go on and on about
but it's true. The institutional knowledge that we all have. And like you said, I mean, I haven't been in the book business I've been in it for about 16 years, but like Adrian, you can ask Adrian back at our head buyer. It's like, she's got at the top of her head some stuff that's amazing.
I mean, yeah, and they're out there. I mean, Here to Get My Baby Out of Jail by Louise Shriver. So, it's probably at $12.95, $13.95 from like University of Georgia Press. Great read for $12, $13.
Yeah.
Slim. But I mean, I could, we could rattle off great books.
And just to wrap it up a little bit with Susan and Beth on this question is, what we're doing here on this is we're trying to highlight new stuff that's coming out for you. But if you're not around La Jolla, if you want to call us and talk to a bookseller, that's a great thing. Or if you pop into your local independent, they can walk you over to that fiction section that's the paperbacks, and you could spend an hour talking to them about what good books are out there. So anyway,
maybe we do a favorite backlist one day.
We can do that. That would be a really fun one to do. All right.
Especially that's something that the publishers are hoping we do this season because of the supply chain challenges.
Okay, let's do it. All right, Gabe, lightning round. Let's go.
Lightning round, and for lightning round, I got a fast presentation of a book that I presented to you before last year when it was in hardback, called Hench by Natalie Zena Walshatz. And this is a really original work. This is a young woman who needs a job. So she's got a background in business, and she is running spreadsheets for bad people because you know what? Everybody needs secretarial work. Everybody needs people to run spreadsheets for them. Everybody needs a business worker. So that's what she's doing. And one day she kind of gets this break and to step to the forefront. And what happens? A superhero comes crashing in, kills a bunch of people. She gets injured. People are maimed. People are injured. She's, of course, obviously pretty upset about it. She gets laid off from her job because she can't perform. She got no money. She got no physical mobility. And then she comes upon this idea that she's got data, and she starts running data on superheroes, and like just that incident of lives lost and property damage costs a lot of money. So she comes to realize that the difference between a superhero and an arch villain can be perception. Mainly just perception, the superheroes are they break buildings, they damage highways, they create havoc, they kill people. So she starts running her spreadsheets as information, and with some smartly placed social media videos, she creates her own dialogue on the topic and becomes a star. Then she's hired by this arch villain to work for him, and so she goes on her way. So it's a really entertaining book. Just a fun, fast-paced, little bit of a twist in the tale here. And then the paperback it includes a brand new story called Meat, which was written, exclusively for the whatchamacallit, paperback. So you won't find that in the hardback. You got much more value in the paperback. So this is out tomorrow, and we're hoping for good things. For the paperback. A lot of fun.
Love it.
Kim really liked that one. Bookseller Kim.
Yeah, that was one of her favorites. Okay, I'm cracking up because I thought Beth had asked the question in the comment section about the book prices too, because she said, Beth, I have terrible eyes, so I can't see that well. But she said she had the same question. It was about you, about the dog in Stockholm spend. But I think I kind of answered the dog question. So anyways, I swear to goodness, my eyesight. I've got cataracts. I've got to start getting rid of. So anyways, I think it's this ring light over the last year that's made them bad.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's inevitable.
Oh, stop. Am I just old, Gabe?
I didn't want to say it, but
yeah,
I'm not that rude, but
oh my goodness.
Not like me.
I'm not mean like that, but
you're not mean like me. It's Tuesday, witches. Okay, Amanda, what's your lightning round?
I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on.
Do it.
Just put that on.
Okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, when you were talking about Hench, Gabe, and the way that superheroes are so destructive, you know what that reminds me of? There's a short story by Ted Chiang, who wrote the story that the movie The Arrival is based on. And it's called Hell is the Absence of God. And it sounds like that could have even inspired Hench.
Possibly.
Because it concerns kind of the same scenario. Really good story.
Hmm.
Love Ted Chiang. His collection Exhalation is in paperback, and it was one of the New York Times' best books of the year when it came out.
He's got a creative, he's got an innovative mind. His plot ideas are always really interesting.
Yeah. And he's a cat person. I found that out. So I like him even more.
There you go. All right. What do you got for your lightning round, Amanda?
Julie's not a cat person, everybody. Okay, so this is another one of those that where I'm gonna keep saying order this now if you need a gift for someone, because it may not be available closer to the holidays. And I actually don't have the finished copy, so I don't know, Julie, if you want to look this up for me. Sure. And show the cover. The cover is so beautiful, the finished cover. This is Gastro Obscura, a food adventurer's guide. Dig into the world's most amazing cuisines, culinary traditions, experiences, and ingredients. And if you need a gift for the foodie in your life and the person who loves to travel but may not be traveling right now for whatever reason, this is a beautiful, perfect gift for the armchair traveler / foodie in your life. So it just takes you on this tour of strange and wonderful things about food around the world. And it has these beautiful color illustrations. Fish sauce factories of the Roman Empire, for example.
Okay, I'm going to show the cover now.
Okay.
Oh, it is a great cover.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's a good looking book. It's a good idea.
It's a handsome hardcover book. Higher price point because it's big. I think it's $40, but again, like a perfect gift. Blood-sucking sea monsters eating lampreys. Like the brief high-flying era of Zeppelin dining. So it's not just stuff you can do now. It's historical. It's just awesome. Okay, this is the history of engastruation. You know, a turducken for Thanksgiving. Some people do stuffing the chicken into the duck into the turkey. It gets even crazier. Look. This is a French recipe, and this is a true thing that has been done. Look at all those birds stuffed into each other. So yeah, it's just a weird, wacky, wonderful book, Gastro Obscura, and we have some now.
Yeah, and that will be one there won't be a reprint of that one.
It might be tough, so
yeah, that's a fun site. They do
the Alice Obscura. Okay, so when it first came out, it was when I think it was Book Expo, the last one that they did in Chicago. They had one thing that they had to do outside of New York. So we did an Alice Obscura at the Surgical Institute in Chicago. So it had the old, it's fascinating. It's actually a museum that you can go to when you're in Chicago, but it had the old iron lungs and it had all the old like surgical instruments and stuff. It was trippy. Anyways, Alice, and so Gastro Obscura is good. Alice Obscura is also another one that's a good one to pop into.
Awesome.
Okay, I have to talk about events just real quick, so everybody bear with me because it's just what I got to do. Thursday, Lee and Andrew Child will be with Jack Tapper. So did I say that right? Is it Tapper or Taper? Tapper.
Jake.
I knew I would get some part of his name wrong. Jake Tapper.
You got the Tapper right. You missed
the Tapper right. I missed his first name. Sorry about that, Jake. I'm sure he's watching. I'm getting very offended right now. Because what's he doing at 4:00 on Monday? Anyways, so Jack and Lee and Andrew Child, they're brothers. Lee brought Andrew in on the writing thing. I think this is maybe their second or third attempt, or not attempt, but second or third time doing it. Anyways, so there's that on Thursday.
Wait, are they brothers or are they brothers?
Those are brothers.
Oh, okay. I thought
the brother or his son. I thought it was
Yeah,
his
I
son.
thought Andrew was his son.
Okay, I thought so too, except talk about institutional knowledge, and do not question Adrienne on anything that has to do with Lee Child, because she is a Lee Child aficionado.
Yes.
Brother. And I looked it up and it is brother, because I was thinking son too. So, but then when you look at the picture, it's like, I think that's a brother. Anyways.
Gotcha.
Then next week, Sebastian Younger, which was on one of our virtual events, is actually going to be coming in the store next week. And then Ken Follett's back with, that's going to be Tuesday. That's in 2 weeks. With Never. He's back to his crime thriller. So loving that. So another good week of reading, guys. Thank you. We're reading suggestions. And do we have any other questions, Amanda, coming in, or are we all good?
I see one from Susan, but I'm not sure I understand what Susan is asking.
Beth Benny.
Will
See,
there be...
Beth said it's brothers too.
Yeah.
Will there be a calendar for Gastro Obscura?
Oh, like a wall calendar or a tear off. That's a great question.
A great idea. It's really a great idea.
Yeah.
If they don't, they should.
Yeah. I can find out and message
we'll
you
report back next week.
Okay.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Or I'll direct message you too, Susan, if I can on Facebook here.
Okay, everybody. Have a good week of reading. And thanks, Beth, for always watching in. Some good recommendations again this week, Gabe. Thank you, and Amanda. So everybody have fun reading and stay dry if you're out here in California as much as possible.
There's a page a day, Alice Obscura.
There is?
Atlas Obscura or Gastro Obscura?
Atlas. I couldn't find it.
Atlas.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Google. Peace.
The Google. Peace out, everybody. Nice. Have a good week. Bye.